So how does Swar Bharat Party plan to eliminate poverty from India?
Liberalism is about equal opportunity. Liberalism is about ensuring that people are free, but they are also enabled to achieve their highest potential. This enabling has to be a role of the state, of the government, after it has provided its first order functions, which are essentially of defense, security, internal security, which is police, and justice. The idea of equal opportunity is fundamental to liberalism. We do not believe in equality, economic equality. The idea of economic equality is fundamental to socialism. These are two fundamentally different ideas. In the one idea, it is about, the socialist idea is about distributing the existing cake equally to everybody. Our idea is to expand the cake so that everybody is able to achieve their highest potential. So the cake becomes 100 times bigger. And within that, we don't care about inequality, but we care about equal opportunity, and we care about the poor. That means if you have worked your level best as a result of the freedom you have, and if you fail to achieve a very bare, frugal minimum standard of existence, then the state will have a social insurance program to ensure that you are topped up, your income is topped up, that is top up, not the complete income, but a top up to achieve that minimum level by which you can survive. So what we are saying is we will ensure access to high class education. And by high class education, I really mean high class here. The party is not talking about the schools which are there in India, many of the villages, with hardly any roof above their head, with no teacher attending. That is not the kind of equal opportunity system that we believe in. That is the system that the socialists believe in. All socialist countries across the world have had similar problems, both in the West and in the East. You can think of North Korea as an example of an extreme socialist country. These countries cannot provide equal opportunity. Our party will ensure that we will facilitate funding to the poorest of the poor through school vouchers. We'll come to that separately in more detail in terms of the education policy. But the fundamental point here is that the children of the country will get access to high quality education. Once they have access, they have also apprenticeships where required with the help of businesses. They will get good jobs, they will get a high level of income growth. But if after that as well, some of them are unable to achieve a minimum basic frugal level, and I really mean frugal. We're not talking here about the Scandinavian model where there is an extraordinarily strong welfare state. A welfare state like that can consume a huge amount of resources and will also distort the incentives. What we really need to worry about is the poorest of the poor. Antodaya. That was the message of the Sarvodaya movement of Vinoba Bhave. That the last person should be looked after first. And we are not only going to eliminate poverty by the force of market, which is going to lift everybody because of equal opportunity and the kind of trade and other opportunities that exist so that they become entrepreneurs. We will create millions of entrepreneurs in India. But on top of that, if they fail, then we also completely assuring them that they will not have to suffer acute poverty. And how do we do that? Our party's policy on that is a negative income tax type model. What does it mean? This model is derived from Milton Friedman's idea of a negative income tax, which says that if you are unable to achieve a minimum level of income, then instead of paying a tax, the state actually pays you on top of that. So if you have achieved below a level, then the state will actually fund you, which is a direct subsidy to your account. Now this is exactly not the same as the negative income tax model. What we're talking here is a bit more simpler model. But essentially the concept is a very similar model. It is an NIT type model, where essentially you will top up the income of the poor based on the minimum level that they need to survive. And that actually eliminates poverty completely. I heard recently that BJP was claiming that it is for the first time that any government in India has talked about eliminating poverty. I'm afraid that is not true. I have been writing about this since 1998. In fact, I took that proposal to Mr. Vajpayee's office in the Prime Minister's office, and there was no consideration given. I took it to the Planning Commission. There was no consideration given. I have been advocating this for ages. The book I wrote has got that proposal. The political parties that we have formed earlier in my life, like the Swatandra Bharat Party, they all had that in the manifesto. Swarn Bharat Party has that in the manifesto. We talk of eliminating poverty. We are not talking about alleviating poverty. The big difference. The socialists talk of alleviating poverty, and they will therefore fund some in a Narega and all these schemes. But this model really is different. It says we will conduct a survey, we will work out who is at the bottom of the ladder, and those people who are really suffering because of poverty, even after all the other equal opportunity facilities given to them, these people will be identified and their bank accounts will be identified and they will be matched and the funds will be transferred directly to their account up to the level that is topped up. So if they have got certain, let us assume that there is income required at the minimum level is X. I won't name the number can change. Let us there be X. X minus 1,000 is what their income is. Then the government will top up by 1,000 rupees. Okay. So the idea is that the government simply tops up the amount to bring them up to the level X, which is the level of minimum survival for that family. In that process, the dire poverty is immediately eliminated. And our manifesto commits to doing this within 3 years from being elected to national government. Now you might say this is a very big ask coming to national government, but I think the message here is that there is no other party with even the slightest remotely equal opportunity policies on offer that will ensure high quality skills development in the poorest of the poor and in the whole country, facilitating through the private sector. We'll come to that separately. We'll get them the health benefits through the private sector and facilitate through vouchers. And on top of that, this model will ensure that there is no poor person left at the end of the day. Now, this is our party's commitment compared with the socialists whom you have seen have been operating in India for 70 years. I was actually Director of Rural Development of Assam, handling a very large budget at that time, probably the second largest budget among all the departments in Assam after education. And in that I know how much of that money unfortunately was being squandered. In fact, I mentioned Hiteshwar Saikia. He was actually taking a cut. The Chief Minister wanted a cut out of that money. Because they directly do these things. They will directly build a road or they will do some center training directly. No, but the government should not do that. They will build the infrastructure, it's a separate matter. But directly trying to do programs, Narega, etc., and programs to give employment to the rural farmers directly through the government, that is a wrong approach. Except for test relief, which is an extreme emergency like a flood, the government should not be involved in these activities. It should facilitate the private sector and it should fund the poor. So our policies will actually deliver what the socialists have claimed for 70 years to deliver, but they have failed. Now, it is entirely up to the country to work out whether they want our policies or they want the policies of the socialists. Now, the way it is going to work out is that the socialists will have to change because our policies are better in every regard. And this is how we will eliminate poverty completely. So the short answer to this question, our party is the only party entirely in the whole country which will eliminate poverty, and that is a guaranteed elimination.